This is Caitlin Dixon's hopefully first and only take of 4.1, the process of photosynthesis. We're going to start by looking at the cell of a plant. And the cell of the plant has all the normal things like cell wall, cell membrane, cytoplasm, all the little things floating around in the cytoplasm like mitochondria and all that. But what we're really going to focus on is the chloroplast. These things right here, little circles inside of them. And you're going to move down from the chloroplast and you're going to look at what is inside of a chloroplast. Because chloroplast is where photosynthesis happens, specifically in the thylakoids. And there are other things like stroma and stroma lamellae, I think it is. And also photosynthesis occurs there too. But right now we're going to look at granums and thylakoids, and granums are just stacks of thylakoids. So this is especially what we're looking at, these little disc thingies that kind of look like stacks of pancakes. Alright, so we're going to move over here to a thylakoid. This whole thing is a thylakoid. This little thingy right here, this whole wall thing, is a thylakoid membrane. And this is where light-dependent reactions start for photosynthesis. First, you have to have sunlight. Sunlight and water are how photosynthesis happen. Sunlight's going to go in to photosystem 2, while water comes in. Water is going to split up into hydrogen and oxygen, and the hydrogen is going to split in two. Well, it's just going to split, and it's going to become hydrogen ions, all these little babies down here, and free electrons, which are going to go into the photosystem and get really excited and all high energy because of the oxygen from the water. The electrons are going to travel down the electron transport chain from the electron carriers, which are these little things right here. And it's going to travel down until it hits photosystem 1 again. Well, another photosystem, this is photosystem 1. It's going to recharge its batteries and just keep going down the electron carriers until it reaches the ATP synthase. Well, the electrons are just going to go up, and the hydrogens are going to go through the ATP synthase. Once they go through the ATP synthase, the hydrogen ions and the electrons are going to bond together again and go up on bond with NADP, which creates NADPH. And then the ADP is going to be waiting there, and it's going to get attached to a phosphorus. No, not phosphorus. A phosphate, sorry. I forgot what it was called for a minute. It's going to get attached to a phosphate, and it's going to create ATP. Now, ATP and NADPH are what we want out of a light-dependent reaction, because it's going to help with the light-independent reactions, which is what we're going to move on to next. So, we're going to look at light-independent reactions. So after the light-dependent reactions, you're going to be left with ATP and NADPH. And the light-independent reactions happen in the stroma, which is pretty much where the thylakoids are held. So this is happening all outside of it. So it starts with CO2 that plants get from their leaves. And the CO2 is going to go round and round in a thing called the Calvin cycle, which is this thingy down here. Because the CO2 has to become glucose, and this is the formula for glucose. And the CO2 has to go round and around enough time to where it connects and collects enough carbons and such, like hydrogen, to make glucose. So you see where the C is, you see where the O2 is, and then you know where those come from. Where does the H come from? The H comes from the NADPH, and it's going to get rid of its H, and it's going to go, so it's going to lose a bond to make a bond over here with the CHs, and they're going to go round and around until they collect enough C's and H's. Now the thing that makes the cycle keep going is the ATP, because it loses its phosphate and becomes ADP again, and the phosphate is going to go down and create little energy bursts so that the cycle keeps moving. And the ADP that's left over and the NADP that's left over is going to go all the way back to its original spot and wait to get bonded again. So everything gets recycled. And once the carbons and the hydrogens have gone around the circle enough times, they're going to end up creating a single molecule of glucose. And this is just going to keep happening over and over again. All right. I'm pretty sure that's all there is to it. And if I missed anything, well, I'm sure I'll hear about it. So, okay, that's the process of photosynthesis.